Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. So I just want to say thank you for everyone who has been subscribing to me. If you haven't done so, please click the like button and subscribe in the link shown below to you. Alright, so today what we're going to be talking about is 8 tips that I'm going to give you guys on how to study effectively for any exam or for most importantly your HSC. Alright, so just a quick starter for these notes. These starter tips will not sometimes work for you. However, it took me a while to find my study groove, and that is why I'm giving you guys my tips that seems to work on me. Tip number 1. So when I was in high school, I used to be a waitress and I was juggling between work and school. Okay, sometimes I think my time management was really poor until I stumbled upon this workmate at the restaurant I was working at, and he gave me a life-changing advice. Okay, and his advice is to study effectively, not like those bludgeoning studying. Study effectively for 4 hours each day after school. That means I'm going to start studying from 4 o'clock all the way to 8 o'clock at night, okay? Now, once it hits 8 o'clock, I pack up, everything's all done, all finished, and I am giving the rest of the night for myself to relax, okay? The most important thing is to relax. Don't overcram yourself while you're studying for an exam or when you're preparing for the HSC, because you'll end up having a brain fart or you end up being brain fried and you just end up unmotivating yourself. So that's what I did from Monday to Fridays after school. On Saturdays, it's a little bit different because there is no school. I ended up studying from 8 o'clock in the morning all the way to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That doesn't mean that I'm studying continuously like that. I have breaks in between, I have a lunch break, and if you guys all know me, I eat a lot, okay? On Sunday, I would be studying because it's towards the end of the week. I do want to reward myself for working so hard. I only study from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the reason why is because you want to spend the day with your family, you want to spend the day with your partner, your dog, just enjoy the air, you know? You don't have to study all the time. Watch a movie with your friends, go out, chill. That's what's really important. You need to have a balance between study and relaxation, okay? You can't have one more than the other. Otherwise, it's not optimal for you. Okay, so tip number 2. You should never study where you relax, okay? That means if you can see your bed, that is the biggest death wish that you would like to have, okay? If you ever see your gaming table, your eating table, anywhere that you guys use to relax, never ever study there, okay? You need to find your own place that would trigger you, or your own little spot where you look at it and you know, yep, that's right, you're going to get into the zone straight away. That's your study area, and that's where you're only going to dedicate for studying. Now for me, I could never study at home. So what I like to do is I like to go to my local library and I would study at a specific cubicle in that library. Alright, tip number 3. You should have a study buddy, okay? A study buddy or a study group. That's what I had. So we have a group of 2 people. You know who you are. That has to remain focused together. We can't be studying with friends who are going to chat non-stop, who's going to distract you, who's going to show you videos. You can't have that, okay? So what my study group or my study buddies that I hang with, we have our headphones in when we're studying, okay? We do not talk when we are doing our own work, or unless we are stuck on any questions. That's when we ask for help from each other. We have occasional laughs here and there, have a little break, have a little chat, but then we resume straight back into being focused. That's the most important thing. We organize break sessions with each other. So for example, we can study 1.5 hours of English and we say, that's right, 5:30 we want to have a break to go eat for 15 minutes. That's the time that we're going to all go and chill, okay, and clear our minds. or we'd be like, for example, in 1 hour we want to have a coffee break. That's what our study buddy group has to have it packed on. Tip number 4. You need to bring your headphones to study, okay? Put on some good music, but make sure it's not like those full depressing, sad music that just breaks your heart, okay? Has to be some uplifting or some classical music or whatever that you can put in the back of your mind as a background music, and that allows you to focus with the work at hand, okay? You don't want to be distracted by the music. You want to use it to elevate or enhance your study session. Tip number 5, you need to stay hydrated and well fed. In the morning of every single study day that we had, me and my study buddies would go to our local supermarket, Woolies, and buy a massive 1.5 litre water bottle, okay? We tend to have like a little competition with each other. We want to see whether we drink the whole bottle or drink 2 bottles, but the more you drink, the better it is for your brain to keep it active, keep it alive, not falling asleep, okay? Have some study snacks ready for you guys, so fruits, muesli bars, but don't load up on too much carbs or fatty, greasy food, because when you have too much carbs going on in your body, you end up having a breakdown later on where you become completely unmotivated, in a food coma, and not going to study at all, okay? So that's a carb overload and you don't want to hit that stage. Tip number 6. You need to have a study schedule or a routine to follow. You can't just go and wing it and be like, oh, today I feel like studying math. Well, every day you should be studying math. And you're going to just study it, one subject a day. You can't do that. So what I normally do is I normally have my Microsoft Word or an Excel sheet. I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, I have the subjects that I studied for the HSC were English, Math 2 unit, Math 3 unit, Chemistry, PE, and Music. Alright, I would order it from the hardest subject down to the easiest subject. So my hardest subject that I suffer from was English, followed by Chemistry, PE, and then we have 3 unit Math, 2 unit Math, and Music. So that was the order that I did. I made sure that because English was something that's important, I made sure I studied English every single day, okay? But that doesn't mean I'm studying the same thing. So for one day, Monday, I would be doing an essay. Tuesday, I'll be doing creative writing. Monday, essay. Wednesday, essay. Thursday, creative writing. So I alternate back and forth. Then I would choose, but now because your syllabus changed for English, you have to alternate that for your own self. The next one I would choose would be Chemistry and PE, because they're the next hardest level of subjects. So I alternate Chem, PE, Chem, PE, Chem, PE each day. Followed by Mathematics, because I find that the most therapeutic. I put it at the end of the day. So I do 2 unit, 3 unit, 2 unit, 3 unit, 2 unit, 3 unit. So I end up with 3 subjects that I'm studying each day after school or during my period of trials and HSC. You know, that period that you have no school, that's what I would be doing. Please never do the easiest stuff first, because if you leave the harder stuff towards the end of the day, you're going to end up feeling tired, and then you have to put so much focus at the end of the day to try and achieve or understand what is happening for the harder subjects, and your brain's not going to let you do that, okay? So please do the harder subjects first and then order it down to the easiest subject where it requires less thinking towards the end of the day. Don't stress if you don't achieve your study timetable each day, okay? Make it flexible, make it adjustable, because it's bound to happen. You know, you're bound to fall behind in your schedule. So just make sure that you're at least catching up to it, but don't stress yourself out, because that doesn't achieve any good news for you or your study. The next thing I would recommend is that because I chose music, it's one less subject to think about for me because I practice it after school or at home every day. I recommend that you guys should be studying about 3 to 4 subjects each day, okay? So when it was the period between trials and HSC, we had the whole day to study 4 subjects or 3 subjects. I'll be doing past papers, and each past paper takes about 2 to 3 hours. That is quite enough. If you have 5 subjects that you're dedicating, 5 times 2 hours is about 10 minimum amount of hours that you have to study for. And that's just too much for one mind to do for a whole day. So make sure you organize enough study, but don't pack on where you just become fried, okay? Tip number 7. You should mark your work, okay? So when you are doing, for example, math, a question, as soon as you finish that question, check to see if it's correct. If it is, give yourself a tick, because it is self-satisfaction. It just gives you a thumbs up and it promotes your intrinsic motivation, okay? If you get it wrong, don't bum out yourself that you are dumb or something, because that's not true. Cover the answer again, make sure you read the question, see what you're missing, try and attempt it again until you get it correct before you move on to the next question, okay? Don't just skip it for later, because if you keep doing that, you're leaving all the harder questions for later. And what was tip number 5? Never ever leave the harder stuff towards the end. Do the harder stuff first, okay? Tip number 8, the last tip for this video. What you would need to have is stationery. I absolutely love stationery. I use loose-sleeved lined papers every single study period. When I'm doing past papers, when I'm making notes, I just use a lot of loose-leaf paper and put it all into a folder. You might be different. You might be doing it in a book. It's completely up to you. I'm a visual person when I'm studying, so when I'm doing past papers or making notes, I like to use colored textures. And these colored textures make my page look more vibrant, more eye-catching to study, okay? Because if you're looking at a book or a piece of paper that's full of black words, you're not going to be fully into reading it. So make sure your work is colorful, make sure your work is neat to keep you motivated to study. I like to use light highlighters. You don't want to use a super dark blue highlighter to highlight your notes because that doesn't absorb into your mind as effectively. I tend to go for pastel colors, but it's completely your choice. And the last but not least, I like to use a black pen. Some people prefer to use blue pen, but I just got this mindset going that if you have a black pen, it just absorbs into your mind a lot easier. Alright, so that is my 8 tips on how to study effectively, which I have come to experience myself and seems to work for me. It might not be for you. Write your comments below on what you think about this video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!